of growth.
Hi everyone, welcome to Future of Growth, a special podcast series where we explore the dynamic landscape of Tamil Nadu's industrial development and its global impact. I'm your host Yarni. In today's episode, we have the privilege of hosting Mr. Vikash Agarwal, the Managing Director, South Asia at AP Moller Maersk. In this episode, we delve into the nuances of exploring opportunities through global value chain diversification, from the challenges and trends shaping the logistic industry to the strategic role Maersk plays in facilitating seamless trade. We unravel the complexities of the critical aspect of modern commerce. With over 27 years of experience, Mr. Vikash Agarwal brings a wealth of knowledge and insights into the evolving world of logistics and its role in global value chain diversification. Maersk, a global integrator of logistics, plays a pivotal role in connecting businesses across continents, enabling and optimizing international trade. Join us in this engaging conversation as we navigate through industry-specific questions and gain valuable perspectives on the vast potential and challenges inherent in the global value chain management. Welcome, sir. It's wonderful to have you here today.
So thank you very much for inviting me for this session. Absolute privilege for me to be part of this.
Sir, how has the logistics industry in general adapted to the evolving landscape of global value chains? And what trends do you foresee shaping the future?
Of course, it's a very important and very interesting topic for India, specifically given the landscape of GVC, how it is shifting. We need to remember we live in a very, very connected world. And imagine 70% of the global trade happens through GVC. Any impact on the GVC has a huge impact the way we consume things or the way we work. And this is where the recent development in terms of how GVCs are evolving, given the scenarios of the disruptions, what we have started to see. Pandemic, for example, war in Ukraine, and even in the Middle East part of it. And also all the geopolitical scenarios which are happening through has definitely created a new demands on the GVC. We are clearly seeing new different trends appearing now. More and more companies are looking for multi-sourcing now to de-risk their supply chain. They are looking for more friend-shoring, near-shoring. They are looking at diversifying their sourcing habits or sourcing base. So this is creating a huge new demands on the logistics sector as well. So of course, it creates a new demand on the GVC itself, and as well as on the service providers like logistics who have to manage the supply chain and rewire the whole thing again. So what I call it is it's a huge demand on rewiring the whole supply chain for the GVCs. That is absolutely creating a challenge as well as the opportunity for the logistics sector. What is needed further from the logistic perspective is as the GVC starts to move, absolutely, of course, rewiring is one. They have to also build the capacity and capability now to be able to service the GVCs through the new supply chain network. And that is the biggest task of, how do you make it happen? Whether it's a technology interventions or capability building, more infrastructure needed. For example, in India, we have to build our infrastructure, and that's what the National Logistic Policy is trying to do, is to address how do we bring down our logistic costs so that we can be more attractive for GVCs. So these are a lot of new things which are absolutely needed, and those are the new trends which we are seeing on the way things are moving.
Very interesting, sir, to know about the new policy and the new trends and the challenges that come with it. Sir, whenever we speak about challenges that we need to overcome, we also speak about innovation. So, what role does technological innovation play across the logistics sector in optimizing global value chains? And how do these innovations benefit businesses and consumers?
So, of course, as I said, as GVCs are moving, very clearly, as I mentioned, China Plus One, which is what is happening through multi-sourcing, diversifying of risk. If I take a case in example, India is looking to tap this opportunity, which is very clearly coming to us. Of course, we are not the only nation which is looking for tapping those opportunity. What we are clearly saying is, as we want to bring and make this market attractive for the GVCs to start appearing, it does require a huge amount of investments, not only on the hard infrastructure, but also on the software infrastructure as well, which is digital infrastructure. Because without digital infrastructure, you can't scale. You can't make a resilient supply chain, which is supposed to be highly resilient, because small disruptions causes massive havoc. And this is where a lot of the challenges, what we are trying to fix it, is the digital infrastructure, so that you are more visible, more predictable, and allow for that scalability which is needed. And on the hard infrastructure is because you have to be much better connected. You have to have a better transit time for things to happen, and allow a lot of those enablers, so that your cost of production or cost of supply chain are reduced and you are highly competitive. So you need competitiveness and scale, and this is where we have to manage. And until those two are managed, we will not be successful. So this is what I call is everything is boiling down to how do we make it competitive and how do we allow for the scale to happen. So this is how I define some of the challenges we'll have to tackle through.
So that was very interesting point to note, that there is no point of having an innovation which is in its silo, and how digital innovation and data and everything has to be married together to find solutions. Sir, in the light of this, whenever we're speaking about innovation, we also talk about the demand for sustainability. So how are logistics providers addressing eco-friendly practices in the management of global value chains?
Yes, this is very, very interesting topic for our industry, because this is an industry which has been mired with huge amount of inefficiencies, I would say not much investment has gone into this industry, because we still work with a lot of papers, a lot of touch points, a lot of manual interventions, and this purely adds up to a lot of inefficiency what we see in our business. What has happened is this industry has been a little slow compared to the other verticals or the industry in terms of digital innovations, so that we solve some of the problems which can be easily managed through digital intervention. So thank God, actually technology is not an option. Thank God we are now realizing the space at which we need to transform and bring those digital intervention. And that is where we are clearly saying this industry needs a lot of those digital infrastructure, so that a lot of the data and the flow starts to get captured under through technology. Because what we have realized, a lot of data sits in the supply chain, and we know data is everything now. And with the data, we can do a lot of those predictive analytics and bring the ML and the AI into play, so that we can start making a recommendation on what is happening in the supply chain, so that you can take measurable actions based on those data, and also to build the resilience in the supply chain. So a lot of the innovation is basic stuff which the other industry has managed to really say. Advanced manufacturing is moving very, very fast. I think our industry is also moving towards that, so that we can start to leverage what is already available, and so that we connect. And I would also say one more thing. It's not only about digital, it's connected network of digital flow of data, because there's no point for us to have a digital intervention in its silo by itself, because we have multiple handshakes which happens in a supply chain, and you need a connected network of data. And that is where we are seeing a lot of work which is happening.
So you very rightly pointed out that sustainability is no more an option, that it is the collective responsibility of every one of us. Sir, looking at the broader landscape, what do you perceive as the key challenges and opportunities that await the logistics industry in the context of diversifying global value chains?
Actually, I'll say, do we have an option? That is the real question we have to answer. We live in a world which we have to be responsible for our future generation. And I think it's better late than never, but sustainability has has become a key element of our businesses now, and even our responsibility. And if we clearly see as Maersk, when we talk about our purpose, we say we want to improve life for all. And you can only improve life if you can let the earth survive and the future generation to be able to use this. And this absolutely leaves you with a responsibility, immense responsibility, that what actions are you taking so that you are allowing for a better future of the Mother Earth. As a company, we have long back, almost 5 years back, we took a decision much before people were making commitments. We said by 2050 we'll be net zero company. In fact, in just a few months back or years back, we took a decision to advance that target by more than 10 years. So 10 years. So we said we'll be in net zero by 2040 now. And what it means is, of course, we are also making a huge amount of commitment in terms of, we have just ordered a green fuel vessel, which is already sailing with us. We have made another commitment of 24 vessels which are coming on board in next 2 years. And those commitments are real. As an industry leader, we cannot be waiting for people to react. We have to take action. And as a company, I'm glad I'm working for a company which lives its value and purpose to make a commitment for this thing. So we're following through actions. And we need to also remember, we have the emission footprint across on multiple other areas, because we are not only a shipping line, we have to also focus on land. Can we move towards more model shift from road to rail, because rail is more eco-friendly or more less emission. We also have commitment on the buildings. We want to be net zero on every building which we are going to build for the future. And those are real commitments we have to make. And one important point I need to mention, 70% of our top 200 customers of ours have already made a commitment to be net zero. And being their service provider, we have an accountability and an ownership to help them in their journey. And we are committed to their journey. And if we can't, we have no right to be their partner. And that is where we have made a clear commitment that ourselves will make our own commitments and will also work through our customers' journey so that we enable them to be carbon neutral as well in their journey. So a lot is happening. I must say this is the real stuff, to be honest, and we all have to remain committed, whether it's a company or individuals. So I think this is a big area which everyone has to work through.
So while you did bring about the importance of sustainability, there is a parallel track, or I would say an integrated track, that is talked in every industry, and that happens to be transparency. So in your experience, how has the logistics industry responded to the call for greater transparency in global value chains? And what impact does this have on your day-to-day business operations?
Yeah, I think transparency is also again linked to your previous question about your technology intervention. And I did mention and I alluded to that point because it is so physical and so out of the, if you don't capture digitally, you are not transparent enough because you're not visible around. And that is where transparency, and why transparency has taken a huge importance. Because of the recent past development, what we have seen, the disruptions are becoming too frequent. And once you face it, when everything is working fine, no one talks about it, whether I need to be more transparent or I need more visibility, I need to be more predictable. But this is where we have realized, when you have seen so much of disruption, customers, or specifically in GVC context, it becomes so important that one should be able to see where their supply chain is. And if you can't see it, you can't take action on it. And that is why it is relevant that visibility and transparency is important for you to be more resilient and be more agile as well. So everything, what you want, an outcome, can only come when you're visible. When you can't see it, you can't do anything about it. And that is where the relevance of visibility is coming through, because whatever you want to get an outcome, you can only get, this is a basic first step, you want it. And this is why it is becoming a much more hot topic for everyone to talk about it.
So you have a large footprint in the state of Tamil Nadu, and you're not shying away from expanding your network in the state. can you tell our listeners what makes Tamil Nadu so important for you and your experience in being in Tamil Nadu for so many years?
Of course, we have a very, very long history with this part of the world. We have been here for more than 25 years. In fact, our presence in India has been 100 years back when our first vessel touched India. But of course, the real operations, the real company, we were here almost 30 years back. And Tamil Nadu has been our early start because we were predominantly an ocean carrier in the early stage. So we had a strong service to feed into this part of the market. What we have done over the last few years now, very clearly as a company, because we are an integrated logistic company working to connect and simplify our customers' supply chain. So we are transforming ourselves. We are integrating our customer supply chain, which means we have to go beyond what we have been doing in the past. So we are establishing huge amount of network of assets, control assets on the land side, which is essentially talking about road network, connecting a lot of the warehouses, setting up a lot of bonded facilities, a lot of the work which happens on the land side. And this is where we have been investing very heavily. And Tamil Nadu has been our real big focus because, as a matter of fact, Tamil Nadu is the top 3 state in the GDP of India, contributes to the GDP of India. So you by its very virtue, there is a huge amount of economic activity which is happening, and as a service provider, I have to be with my customers in their growth journey, help them to grow and be there where they need to be, and that is where we have been. But what we clearly see, specifically the state of Tamil Nadu, and when we talk to our customers, absolutely, we see a lot of those progressive decision policy intervention which are happening. Which is allowing a lot of these customers to look at this market very, very, very positively. The second part we see is the infrastructure investment which has been made already, which attracts the GVC much, much more. And that is more favorable in Tamil Nadu. And we have also seen, which is the important part, is the skilled workforce. Availability of skilled workforce, because if you don't have it, you can't get it, then you can't do anything even if you have infrastructure. So those 3 important areas which we have realized, and a lot more customers are talking to us, and they are clearly seeing an advantage to be in Tamil Nadu. And from that perspective, when we have conversation with our customers, we are clearly seeing they want us to be able to support them in their growth journey. And we are together with them, and we are making our own commitments, and we ourselves see a value of how we need to invest here, because we clearly see there is an advantage here for a lot of the GVCs to set up their manufacturing base. And as more and more GVC starts to move in next 5-7 years, there is a massive potential which we see in Tamil Nadu. So we want to really aid in working to make sure that Tamil Nadu can tap its potential to the full. And once you have a very effective supply chain, you have a very effective infrastructure, you got the game. And that is where, and as a business people or a service provider, you don't want to be missing a opportunity which is there. So I would say it is inbuilt right now. It is there is an opportunity which is clearly available to everyone, and we are clearly seeing that, and we are staying invested in this one.
So it has been a very, very engaging conversation. We've touched upon variegated topics, transparency, sustainability, and so forth and so on. Is there anything else you would like to share with our listeners on this sector with your immense experience? This can be strengths or challenges towards future that this industry will be seeing.
Of course, there are a few things. Of course, for the logistics industry specifically, we are the 5th largest economy today. In next 5 to 6 years will be the 3rd largest economy, and the size of the GDP is going to grow tremendously. We are looking at doubling every 5-6 years the economy. So imagine the size of economic activity which is going to happen in this part of the world. And if you see purely from the scale and size and all the shift in GVC which are going to happen, our manufacturing share moving from 14-15% to 25% requires massive amount of infrastructure, digital changes, and capability building which is needed. The good part of the story is government has already rolled out in the national logistic policy its vision, how they want to make it happen. It is now up to us to really start playing our role. And it is not only up to the government to really make everything available. We as private players and business or community have to tap this and play our role to really make it happen now. And that is what I would call to say lifetime opportunity in India for the logistic companies to really scale up and help the GVC and tap this India's potential, which is going to be massive. That's what I would say as in conclusion.
Every industry today is focusing specifically in training and skilling. Is that something Maersk is also working on? Do you look at training people or skilling talent pool? Can you say something on that, sir?
So of course we are heavily invested in Tamil Nadu. As I said, we have ocean service, which is a strong ocean service connecting to the international trade. We have also invested heavily on the land side infrastructure, inland depots, CFS, warehouses, footprints on non-bonded facilities, and also capabilities on the road network, which we have been building up. But beyond that, what we have also invested is 3,700 colleagues of ours working on a global service center supporting global operations, which is a very large part of our investments in the knowledge workforce which we have invested in Chennai. We also have a partnership with Emmet University to recruit and train diverse workforce on the seafarer side. And beyond this as well, we have another company, Maersk Training, which has also been providing training and upskilling work on the seafarer and beyond as well. So those are some of the lot of work which we have been doing in Tamil Nadu right now.
Thanks a ton for joining us, sir. This was, as I mentioned earlier also, a very, very engaging conversation on a very important subject like logistics and global value chain management.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this insightful journey into global value chain management. We hope you found this conversation valuable and gained new perspectives on the logistics ecosystem. Stay tuned for more engaging discussions with industry leaders. So until next time, this is Yarni signing off on Future of Growth.
The future of growth.